Behind us we have the stylish, funky Super Mini by MG, the MG3.
Now this one won't break the bank. In fact, it comes in at about £10,000, about half the price of what you're going to be paying for a Micra or a Fiesta.
Now it only has one engine, that's a 1.5 petrol, and it's a rather punchy piece of kit.
Now I'm going to be taking it on the road, seeing what it's like to drive.
I'll be going around it, look at the styling, look at what you get, your functionality, the practicality, and what you get for your money.
Then we'll bring you our verdict on the MG3 and whether or not it matches up to its competition.
Now the first thing you'll notice when you get in the MG3 is this retro dashboard. I mean, admittedly, it's quite a hard plastic, but that's where MG save their money. But styling wise, it's a very cool looking car. You've got these funky sporty seats with the red idents. You've also got a leather steering wheel with red stitching, so that carries on the red theme throughout the car. And you've also got plastics here, which you'd expect. But with the cloth insert, it carries it off very nicely. Now for a very affordable Super Mini, it's quite tech loaded. You've got stop start, you've also got all-round electric windows, you've got phone connectivity, and you've got this little slidey door. Now this is perfect for things like your phone. You've got a USB and an auxiliary in here, whereas if you shut this door, you can then listen to your music without it distracting you while you're driving. Now MG have continued their retro styling with this, the DAB radio. This is a 6-speaker system. You've also got this air conditioning unit and heaters, and these are done in a rather funky style too. Now the MG is quite a practical car. Decent sized door bins where you can fit a bottle of water. You've also got 2 cup holders here. Now you may struggle to fit larger drinks in there. You've also got a wallet and keys section here and a decent sized glove box.
Now stepping into the back of the MG3, it's nice and easy. That's thanks to these doors that open nice and wide. There's also plenty of room back here. There's lots of headroom and there's lots of knee room. Now considering this seat is set up for someone who's over 6 foot tall, that's really impressive for a car of this size. Now back here there are some hard plastics, but there's also these chrome effect door handles and the fabric inserts on the door. There's also the sporty effect on the seats that's continued from the front. Now when it comes to practicality back here, you're not going to fall short. There's a cup holder, there's relatively large door bins, there's also electric windows that go all the way down. There's also Isofix on both of the outer seats and the side airbags.
Now when it comes to the rear of the MG3, you've got quite a large boot. Quite a load lip, but it's a 285 litre capacity. Now when you put things like rucksacks in there, they actually fit under the lip. You've also got split folding rear seats. Now if I just remove the bag and lift up the floor, you can see this car even comes with a space saver. Now that is very rare today. You've also got tethering points on both sides of the seat, and you've got a kind of lip here, but that's to be expected with a Super Mini. Now the first thing you'll notice about the MG3 is its looks and its colour. Now they've gone with rather flashy popping colours. They've also gone with a more sporty type of feel. So you've got like this rear spoiler, you've got beasting aerial, and you've got this square exhaust that's kind of encased in a rear diffuser. Now that's something new for MG. Now looking at the side of the MG3, you can really see where the colour combination works. You've got a glossy black roof, you've got some yellow paint, and you've also got these matte black side skirts and 16-inch alloy wheels. And when you combine that with these funky black mirrors and the aerial, you get quite a sporty looking car. Stepping around the front of the MG3, you're met with a very pleasing sporty look. You've got this front diffuser, you've got this funky carbon fibre style MG badge, and you've got the chrome that follows the lines. And also, you've got things like this, these little MG emblems that are built into the headlamps. Now as I mentioned before, there's some very appealing looks on this car. You've got the clamshell bonnet, you've also got these funky LED daytime running lights, And you've got a large windscreen, which is quite rare on these type of cars, which gives you great visibility. Normal hatchbacks and small super minis usually have quite low windscreens.
So what's the MG3 like to drive? Well, you might expect it not to be quite on par with things like the Ford Fiesta and the Nissan Micra. Well, you'll be mistaken, because it's nice and nippy on the back roads, yet stable and comfortable on the motorway. When it comes to handling, the steering's very intuitive. In fact, it's quite a sporty little car. There's very little body roll when you go into corners, and the suspension is still very comfortable when you're going around the town. Now, the MG3 only comes with a 1.5 litre petrol coupled to a manual gearbox. There's no 3-cylinder engine or diesel options available. However, that's not a bad thing, because this 1.5 gives you the best of both worlds. You get great economy, but you also get good performance if you're willing to climb higher in the rev range. Now, when it comes to driver aids, you're not even going to fall short with them. You've got, on some of the higher spec cars, you've got cruise control, you've got stop start, you've got parking sensors, so it does make the MG3 quite easy to live with. Now, overall, the ride is very comfortable. Now, 1 or 2 bumps may catch you out, but generally it's very good. When you go on a motorway, that slight stiffness to the suspension does pay off, because it makes it feel very safe, and when you tackle some more spirited driving on the back roads, it really pays off. Now, we've covered over 1,000 miles in this car, and in our experience we've got anywhere from 34 to 54 miles to a gallon. Overall, visibility is very good. There's very little blind spots, there's good visibility out the rear, and you also get a nice wide sweeping windscreen. Now, although this car doesn't have some of the more advanced features like 360-degree cameras, all-round parking sensors, and a large colour infotainment system, that isn't a bad thing, because that's where MG have saved their money. Like, it's still a very funky car. You've got the great paint, you've got alloy wheels. It's going to be a great seller when it comes to people buying their first cars. MG really have gone back to their roots with this car. They've gone back to what a hatchback should fundamentally be. You've got great economy, very good performance and handling, but it's all in a very affordable package.
Now, over the last week, we've driven this car, like all our others really, over 1,000 miles, but that's quite something for a Super Mini. The MG3 has not let us down, and it's performed exceptionally well.
Like, we went all the way down to Chichester for Goodwood Revival, then we went back up to London, and then all the way back up to the lakes.
And it was returning anything between 56 and 35 to the gallon. Now, that's quite something for a 1.5 petrol.
Now, the power was there when you needed it. It was plenty good enough to go on a motorway. It was great on the back roads.
It's extremely roomy as well. You could have 4 people in this car, and luggage and camera equipment for us, and be very comfortable.
Now, admittedly, the interior has got some scratchy plastics, but when you're paying half the price of its competitors, that's to be expected.
You'd be hard pushed to find a contender for this car.
Like, the only thing that you can really compare it to is the Dacia Sandero, but when you look at the trim levels that are available on this car and the customization, you really can't go wrong.
You can either get leather, you can get sports seats. You also get, in the later models, parking sensors and cruise control. Now, we've fallen in love with the MG3. Over the last 1,000 miles, it's done everything we've needed it to do and more. It's affordable, it's cheap insurance, it's 1.5, it's economical. What's not to like?
Now, it's an exciting time for MG. There's the XS coming out later this year, and we also did a review of the MG GS earlier in the year.
For our MG GS review and other impartial car reviews, please follow Planet Auto and subscribe. Thank you.